Hey guys, what's going on here? Shadow of Nexus here with another video. And people are going absolutely ballistic right now. They are so angry that AMD is having a partnership with Bethesda and Microsoft for Starfield. People are going out and saying, oh, this is terrible, this is horrible for the video game industry, the PC gaming industry, this is terrible. And you know what? NVIDIA users, and now I am an NVIDIA user as well, I will be affected by this as well. Does this kind of, make me a bit upset? A little bit. But honestly, look at it this way, okay? NVIDIA, back in the day, they used to do something that is so bad, okay? That's literally so bad. Look up the lawsuits of, what's it called here? I'm trying to remember. It was called The Way It's Meant to Be Played, right? The Way It's Meant to Be Played. The thing is that NVIDIA got sued over this, okay? There's no such thing as the AMD exclusive feature, okay, in games. Like, let's say, Tress Effects that still used to work on NVIDIA. They had some other stuff too. Everything used to work on NVIDIA, right? So, and the same thing with FSR, Fidelity FX Super Resolution, still works on FSR, right? Or sorry, still works on NVIDIA. So if it still works on NVIDIA, I mean, what is the problem here? I mean, if Starfield has FSR 2.0, is there really an issue here? I mean, NVIDIA has been having DLSS, okay? DLSS has literally, some person like on the internet has literally got it working on a GTX 1080, I think, or a 1060. It was one of the few, right? So, it's not the tensor cores. It's not the tensor cores. You're going to be like, it's the tensor cores that are making you do this. No. You can run it on a 10th gen NVIDIA GPU, the GTX 1060, okay? Now, you can't do it because NVIDIA locks it down for you. NVIDIA is literally the king of anti-consumer, okay? I'm gonna be straight up here. When DLSS came out, it's limited to NVIDIA, okay? Now, FSR comes out, AMD are the good guys, right? They go like, we're going to let you use it on your NVIDIA GPU too. So the RTX, like all the RTX cards and all the GTX cards, they all work with it. And even all the AMD cards, the older AMD cards, they still work with that too. And that is great. That is super consumer friendly. But the thing is that NVIDIA, they will literally just cut off AMD entirely. I remember back in the day, I think it was for Batman Arkham Knight, they had a trailer for PhysX in NVIDIA, and the backlash was so much. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised that there was such a huge backlash, because everyone hated AMD back then. Like, you people that say that AMD is so good these days, oh man, you guys have never seen the true hate of AMD, the AMD FX days, the AMD, like the HD 7950 and like all that other stuff, the HD 7000 series. Oh man, people hated AMD back then. It is literally insane, okay? Now, is what AMD is doing anti-consumer? No, it's not, because NVIDIA used to have PhysX, right? PhysX, if you can play it on your AMD GPU, right, it will actually run off the CPU. So if you're running off the CPU, your frame rate is going to go down like a lot, unless you have like a pretty good CPU, right? But here's the thing, like in my case, right, I used to have a FX 8350 and an R9 270X, okay? An R9 270X is pretty much like, let's say today, like a GTX 1050, right? I guess the 10 series is still very popular still, so I'll just say that, yeah, it's like, it's pretty close to a 1050 Ti-ish, right? So anyway, yeah, I was trying to play this game, right? I think it was Borderlands 2, I believe, right? I think it was Borderlands 2. I was trying to play the game, and the PhysX, right? I was trying to like know some pretty cool features and stuff like that. I mean, I'm pretty glad that PhysX doesn't exist anymore because I mean now we have game engines that have superior physics and stuff like that, right? But back in the day, you know, like PhysX was pretty cool, but definitely not for AMD. Definitely not for AMD, right? And look at this, okay? FSR 2.0, okay? Now, I did hear FSR 3.0 is coming out as well, which it's a little bit disappointing that they didn't go with FSR 3.0 for Starfield, but I mean, FSR 2.0 is fantastic, okay? It's very good. I've tried it in many games. Looks great, right? Looks fantastic, actually. DLSS is great too. DLSS is fantastic. I really do like DLSS. In my opinion, DLSS is superior to AMD's FSR. But the thing is that, look, okay? NVIDIA has been doing this for literally millennia, okay? They've been doing this since, like, pretty much the beginning. Like I said, okay? If you really want to see true anti-consumer, look up the lawsuit for the way it's meant to be played, okay? The way it's meant to be played, that stuff was insane, where NVIDIA wouldn't even let you test out your game on AMD, so the drivers were like completely like way behind, man. Like, so you would have absolutely no way of playing this game on AMD and having a similar experience, right? Because like the frame rates back then were like so much behind, right? Like a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, I know AMD GPUs are terrible. And the thing is that NVIDIA was sued over this, okay? They were sued over this because this is so anti-consumer. It's literally insane, okay? It's crazy. Now, Intel was very anti-consumer back in the day too. But now even Intel is really chill. They're putting XeSS, their upscaling software. You can use that on AMD, you can use that on NVIDIA, you can use that on an Intel GPU as well. And same thing with FSR 2.0, guys. I mean, look at this. Okay, you can use this on AMD GPU, you can use this on NVIDIA GPU, you can even use this on like an Intel GPU. Yeah, so FSR 2.0 is great. NVIDIA has been doing this stuff forever. And oh yeah, I think it was The Witcher 3, I believe. It was Hairworks. That was like another thing too that really didn't run good on AMD GPUs. And I'm pretty sure that one actually didn't even run because like they locked it behind. Now, the truth is here is that, yeah, okay, NVIDIA at this moment is kind of superior when it comes to ray tracing and when it comes to upscaling software. I would say with FSR 2.0 though, it's very close. I mean, FSR 1.0 was not really amazing. It was pretty good at 4K, but FSR 2.0 is actually way better. So yeah, I'm going to be saying that these people that are saying that NVIDIA is so pro-consumer, have you forgot about the days where they've literally locked behind features like PhysX, Hairworks, and GameWorks features and stuff like that, and all that stuff, all the drivers and stuff like that, with the way it's meant to be played? Look up that stuff. That is truly anti-consumer. Like, seriously, it really is. Like, where have you guys ever heard where AMD, okay, is just like, oh, this game is not allowed to be tested on an NVIDIA GPU? I've never heard of it. I mean, you can prove me wrong, but that's just insane in my opinion, right? Now, NVIDIA users, I know Starfield FSR 2.0, but you know what? It's going to run great. It's still going to run great because Bethesda games, they run pretty great on PC. I've barely had any problems with Bethesda games on PC. I played Deathloop like a couple weeks ago, and that game ran so good. Like, it ran really good. I think I just had one problem with my NVIDIA driver, but once I reinstalled that driver, it was working just fine. But yeah, NVIDIA and AMD, okay, or even if you have an Intel GPU, it's going to run fine, guys. It's going to run fine, okay? Do not, like, this is not a Jedi Fallen Order, or sorry, Jedi Survivor. I keep on mixing those two up, right? This is not that kind of case where they're just like, oh yeah, it's not going to run very good on this thing here. I think it was Callisto Protocol. I think that was an Nvidia sponsored game as well. So I mean, if that's the case, I mean, Callisto Protocol ran like terrible too. It ran horrible, right? So I mean, really, guys, calm down and seriously look at the history. Okay, Nvidia has been just like taking away features from AMD for years. For years. Intel has been paying people to make AMD look bad back in the day. You really have to look at the history, okay? If you say that AMD is anti-consumer, you guys are literally insane. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny here. Like, seriously, okay. I'm going to name these again, okay? The GameWorks features. Now, okay, that was still a part of the NVIDIA ecosystem, so I mean, that's okay. The physics, which was actually in the game, which gave you better physics effects and stuff like that. Better, like, let's say, particles in games and stuff like that. That was not on AMD. And Arkham Knight, they looked amazing. Like, I remember the trailer. It looked so good. There was, like, money flying around everywhere. And, like, that was not in the AMD version when I played the game. Like, I can tell you for a fact. I think I tried to turn it on and even said, like, oh, you can't turn on physics on this GPU here. You have an AMD GPU, right? And then the Hairworks feature from The Witcher 3. That game also had issues as well, right? That game also had issues on AMD as well. So either you're going to be playing games from back then, okay? You're going to be playing games from back then. AMD has literally been, like, just destroyed when it comes to reviews because Intel used to pay people to make them look bad. During, I think it was Cinebench or whatever, there was, like, a lawsuit as well, too. So AMD has literally been for the consumer for years and years and years. I mean, even their first processor that they released, I can't remember the name of it, but it was so good compared to the Intel. And some people even preferred it more than the Intel. And now we're getting back to the point where the AMD processors are now really, really good. Probably just as good as Intel these days, right? But now we're getting back to this. Because at one point, AMD was so hated, you guys don't even know, man. Like, I don't know if these are just new people playing these games and stuff like that, but guys, AMD has been dragged through the mud, like, forever. And they didn't get any of the features, right? They didn't get physics, didn't get Hairworks. I mean, I think AMD made one Tress Effects. I believe that was also open source as well, so you can use that on any GPU. I'm pretty sure you can use that on NVIDIA GPU as well. So, like, this is crazy, guys. Like, Starfield will be just fine. It will run okay. Don't worry about it. This is being optimized by Bethesda. Go play Deathloop if you don't believe me. Like, Deathloop runs amazing. I think it's running at like 144 frames on my monitor, on my computer, right? And I have a RTX 3080, which is like, nowadays I would say like kind of like a mid-range, upper mid-range card, right? So yeah, don't be, guys, don't be like scared or anything like that. Starfield is gonna run just fine. Like, and a lot of people are really upset because, they really wanted to play the game with DLSS and play the game with like, with NVIDIA optimized ray tracing. Don't worry, guys, okay? It's going to be fine. This is one of Bethesda's biggest games that has ever released. They're not going to mess this up, okay? Just because the game has an AMD sponsorship or even an NVIDIA sponsorship doesn't mean it's going to run, like, drastically worse over both of them, okay? So, guys, just calm down, wait until Starfield comes out, and just enjoy it, okay? Again, just enjoy the game. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you do like it, please leave a like and leave a comment, please. I'm really interested to know if any of you were around back then where AMD was completely getting dragged through the mud, man. I think we just forget about that time like these days. Like, guys, AMD has literally been dragged through the mud like forever. Like, if you guys are new to PC gaming, you wouldn't know this, but seriously. they yeah, AMD, Intel and Nvidia have been playing dirty on AMD for years and years and years. Like, it's been so long, man. It's not even funny. And okay, like, Starfield will be fine, guys. Like, seriously, again, I really just want to just say this. Starfield's gonna be okay, guys. This is literally Microsoft's biggest game. They will not let it run horrible on any system you play it on, okay? Don't worry about it. And that's it from me. All right. And that's really it, you know? Like, I know I've been talking for a pretty long time here, but I just really wanted to get this off my chest. I'm just like, hey, you know, I've been seeing all this stuff with Starfield, right? Being a AMD partner or anything like that, right? I mean, I just had to say that, you know, Nvidia has been doing this for years, guys. Like, you guys really don't know. Like, it's crazy. But again, you know, that's another video for another time. I'm going to be explaining, you know, some other stuff in detail of what AMD actually did. Maybe I'll go back and look at that lawsuit or whatever. But yeah, that is going to be it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Peace.